South Africa stands at a crossroads as the highly anticipated Madlanga inquiry looms, a probe many insiders warn could sound the death knell for President Cyril Ramaphosa's African National Congress. Once the unshakable ruling party, the ANC now faces its most serious challenge yet, an unflinching investigation exposing deep-rooted corruption and fractured leadership. As the nation holds its breath, this inquiry threatens to reshape the country's political landscape forever. In what could be one of the most consequential political developments of South Africa's post-apartheid era, the impending inquiry led by former Constitutional Court Justice Biseli Madlanga is shaping up to be a watershed moment with grave implications for the African National Congress, ANC, and President Cyril Ramaphosa's already embattled administration. Dubbed by insiders as a potential death knell for the party's dominance, this inquiry threatens not only to expose deep systemic rot but to shred the last remaining shreds of credibility Ramaphosa has been clinging to since the twilight of Jacob Zuma's tenure. As the inquiry gains steam, whispers in the corridors of Luthuli House have grown into open panic. What was once seen as another routine commission, something the ANC has long mastered the art of surviving, has suddenly evolved into a politically charged reckoning that could shake the very foundations of the ruling party. At the heart of the concern is the unprecedented scope and independence of the inquiry, as well as the staggering volume of evidence reportedly set to be tabled before a nation desperate for transparency. Sources close to the Justice Madlanga-led team suggest a sweeping mandate already uncovering damning connections between senior ANC officials, state resources, and a maze of private entities. What makes this different from many other probes South Africans have grown numb to is the extraordinary credibility Madlanga himself brings. Known for his judicial discipline, intellectual rigor, and disdain for political theatre, he is expected to pull no punches. His legacy on the Constitutional Court bench was one of principled independence and strict adherence to the rule of law. He is reportedly determined to replicate that hallmark of integrity as he presides over what many are calling a truth commission in everything but name. Already, leaks to the media and opposition briefings suggest some findings could implicate key Ramaphosa allies and party heavyweights. This, more than anything, has rattled the presidency. There is growing sense that Ramaphosa may no longer shield himself behind the veneer of renewal and anti-corruption rhetoric that helped him unseat Zuma and temporarily restore investor confidence. The inquiry threatens to render that narrative obsolete. Many critics argue it already has. Behind the scenes, political strategists aligned with the ANC scramble to manage the fallout. Meetings that should be about rebuilding coalitions or refining policy are instead dominated by survival strategies and damage control. The ANC suffered a dramatic blow in the 2024 elections, reduced to a shadow of its former dominance and forced into a fragile government of national unity with opposition parties. With Ramaphosa at the helm of this shaky alliance, the inquiry threatens to be the final straw unraveling the delicate balance holding the administration together. The Democratic Alliance and other opposition forces have seized the moment, demanding full transparency and immediate resignations of those implicated. Meanwhile, the economic freedom fighters frame the inquiry as proof the ANC's moral high ground was a fabrication, and that the same state capture machinery still runs, just under a different guise. Whether one agrees or not, the political theatre now unfolding is massive. South Africans are watching not just a scandal, but a referendum on the ANC's legitimacy and future. It's not just political survival at stake, it's institutional credibility, economic confidence, and democratic stability. International observers and foreign governments watch closely. Diplomatic cables from Western and BRICS nations reveal growing concern South Africa nears a constitutional crisis if Ramaphosa fails to address the inquiry's fallout. Foreign investors, jittery due to power instability and service delivery failures, have one more reason to hesitate, delay needed investment. Legally, the Madlanga inquiry is complex and technical, but its outcomes will be starkly political. ANC factions loyal to former presidents and ideological purists sense an opportunity to dislodge Ramaphosa before his term ends. Though a formal recall motion isn't public, insiders say it's no longer fringe. Discontent grows, signaling serious party fractures. Some quietly float appointing a caretaker president or an emergency conference to reset the moral compass of the ANC. Such drastic ideas, once taboo, are now discussed in midnight meetings. For many South Africans, tired of broken promises and elite impunity, this moment feels familiar yet charged with energy, one of confrontation and demand for justice. The inquiry also opens a Pandora's box for the liberation movement the ANC claims to represent. What does it mean when the party that symbolized hope for democracy is hauled before commissions for betraying that dream? What does it mean for Mandela's legacy when leaders are accused of plundering the state they fought to free? The symbolism of Justice Madlanga, a figure of judicial gravitas, leading this reckoning is powerful, a mirror held to power at its most vulnerable. Whether the ANC accepts or rejects this mirror remains to be seen. Early testimonies promise to be explosive. Names long on the edge of scandal may be dragged into daylight. Bank records, leaked emails, whistleblower affidavits, procurement trails, all await public scrutiny. This is not just about corruption, but governance, morality, and accountability. The entire ANC power structure and state management could be exposed. Then there's Ramaphosa. Despite his reformer image, he's cornered. Back the inquiry to the end, and he risks bringing down allies and his presidency. Obstruct justice, and he shatters his reformist brand. It's a classic political paradox with no easy exit. Civil society groups prepare to apply pressure. Mass mobilizations quietly organize under constitutional accountability banners. Calls for parliamentary oversight and transparency grow. This isn't just elite politics, it's a national movement for justice. History shows South African politics can change swiftly. Zuma's fall was once impossible, then swift. The same may be true for Ramaphosa. What started slow now threatens to be a political tsunami redefining the nation's path. For the ANC, stakes are highest. Embrace reform or double down on denial and risk extinction. For Ramaphosa, this moment defines legacy, reformer who tried to save a broken system or leader swallowed by it. In such moments, nations reveal themselves. South Africa stands on a precarious edge, between past and uncertain future. The world watches closely. Stay informed as this inquiry unfolds. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We'll bring bold, uncensored analysis as South Africa faces one of its most pivotal political chapters. Join the conversation, your front row seat to history.